With this exhibition, Alvar Aalto, Second Nature, we want to challenge the established image of Alvar Aalto's work being very profoundly rooted in the Finnish landscape and in Finnish nature, and want to stress the fact that he was actually an artist who was, or an architect who was, based in Finland, but kept very close exchanges with the international avant-garde, other international architects, modern architects, and particularly also contemporary artists who inspired or who influenced his work. So what we want to say with this title, Alvar Aalto, Second Nature, is that this relation of Aalto to nature is worth a second look, and to show how this influence of nature was mediated by other fields, by culture. The exhibition is roughly structured chronologically. So we start with Aalto's early work in the 1920s, the beginnings of his career, and we end with his late career. But within this rough chronological structure, we address certain main themes in his work. We are presenting some of his most important buildings, showing also his furniture, much of which was actually designed in connection to buildings and then later went into serial production, lighting, glassware, and presenting the architecture by means of architectural models from the Alvar Aalto Museum, so all original historical models, as well as historical drawings from the Alvar Aalto Museum, some of which we see in these drawers here and also in other spaces in the museum. And we're juxtaposing these historic materials to photography by Armin Linke, an artist and a photographer who's based in Berlin and Milan, whom we commissioned to photograph a series of Aalto's buildings. Originally we were speaking about 8, but then he himself got so carried away with his Aalto enthusiasm that it ended up being a few more. Some in Finland, one in Paris, and also some in Germany. And by this photography of Armin Linke, we also want to emphasize or stress this new look that we take on Aalto, which I think works very well together with the historic material. The exhibition has 4 main gallery spaces that structure the whole show. The first part of the exhibition deals with Aalto's early work. On the one hand, his neoclassicist work, on the other hand, the influences that made him become a modern architect. The second room or section deals with Aalto's relations to the art world in connection to 2 of his main buildings, Villa Maria and Maison Louis Carré. The third section deals with how he brought the applied arts to the masses by serial production of furniture, of lighting, of glassware. And the last section of the exhibition speaks about Aalto at the peak of his career, his work in urban planning, his international projects, and his great urban buildings. We begin the exhibition with 2 thematic sections that at first look seem very contrary or contradictory. One is addressing Aalto's work on sacred architecture. In the 1920s, Aalto participated in many competitions for church designs, renovated churches, created furniture for church interiors, and even designed churches that were built, like Muurame Church in the late 1920s, erected nearby his hometown Jyväskylä, in a very rural area in Finland where he grew up and went to school. The other theme in this beginning of the exhibition that we're addressing is very different from those very often still neoclassicist church designs. We've termed it multi-sensory environments, addressing the fact that he was an architect who widened the idea or the notion of function in a building to incorporate the idea of psychological and physiological aspects of building and of perceiving architecture. The classic example for that is the Paimio Sanatorium, often mentioned, the patient rooms that he built according to the needs of a patient lying down, taking into consideration that one would not want to be blinded by the light on the ceiling, so that it's mounted in the back of the patient lying down, arranging the windows so that the daylight only enters above the head of the patient, also not blinding him, with particular sound insulation on the wall. He designed particular wash basins that are muting the sound of the splashing water. But we're also showing much less known examples for this part of Aalto's architecture. We're looking at his interest in film and photography. Laszlo Moholy-Nagy being an artist who was a key figure, sort of a catalyst in Aalto's becoming a modern architect.
Aalto did not only have an interest in natural materials like wood, like ceramics, but also that he, in his very early work already in the late 1920s, he became very interested in new media. He created media facades. He designed an experimental movie theater where experimental avant-garde film could be displayed. So he was a person that was very much not only interested in natural forms, but also in new technologies in media, so in everything that the modern world brought about as innovations. And I think this is a new understanding of Aalto, that to create a natural and human environment, you not only need a look on nature, but also you need to involve today new technologies, media, light, sound, and by that Aalto did not imitate nature, but he really created